Interesting. Oh, wow.
A Trump supporter? Is she gonna tell me before?
Hell no.
I mean, yeah, you'd have to be pretty great for me to date him.
Yeah, I would.
Probably not. Yes.
Yes and no.
I mean, probably not, to be honest.
No, totally, I wouldn't.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know.
No, and I actually did. It was crazy.
I can't even talk to Trump supporters. I unfortunately don't even speak to family members that are Trump supporters.
My boss was a Trump supporter, and like he was the nicest dude I didn't know for the longest time. I probably wouldn't have dated him, so no, I don't think I would date a Trump supporter.
And I dumped him.
I guess if we have a lot in common and, politics doesn't dominate, the relationship, then it would be fine.
It would be extremely hard to be with someone that their political views are not the same as mine, because whenever we want to vote, we want to support some movements or something that we don't go along, it's going to create a fight or something like that.
You know what's interesting? Because I feel like the Trump thing is beyond political preferences at this point.
You try and have an open discussion with people, but I think it's to the point where it's like, I don't know that there are certain things that are okay, morally at all with his beliefs. And so if you support that, then you're just supporting things that go completely against what I believe in.
If they've got messed up ideals, I ain't about it, you know what I mean?
Hello and welcome back to Trash It. It's been a minute and two, but we're always here every Saturday. Now, the usual gang are here, but before I introduce everyone, it seems we've got a Trash It virgin giving me some Erica Badu vibes. Hey, Shala!
Hi.
Hi, Shala.
Hello,
welcome
everybody.
to the show.
Thank you very much.
And obviously, to my, I can never cipher where everybody is with this zooming thing. So I've got Jude, Michelle, Java Jantis, and obviously King Celia on our beautiful throne. Yay! I know she will win. Welcome, guys. So what we're going to talk about today is a very interesting topic, and that's because of the sort of political climate that we're in. For anyone that has been blind, deaf, and dumb, the election in America had everyone tearing their ears and their eyes out. And that was because of how Trump and his rhetoric made people feel. But interestingly, most of the seats for the Republicans were not lost. And going through social media, I could see Celia, Javajantis, Michelle, Jude all having an opinion and two. So my question today to the panel is, should political views, should that affect relationships and friendship? Now, before you answer me, there's a couple in New York that their marriage sort of collapsed a few weeks ago, and that's because the wife actively campaigned for Joe Biden. And once they won, the husband served her divorce papers. So I've not divorced Celia yet, but she's got different views when it comes to politics, which I respect. So I'm going to come to you first and foremost, Jude. Should political views, should it affect our relationship, or should it affect friendship to the fact that we're divorcing each other just because I have a different standpoint on how you think?
I don't think it should, but we should tolerate different opinions and views. But you can understand the climate where we're in right now. You rightly said about Trump's rhetoric. I don't believe Trump himself is a racist. Well, yes, he is just a rising tide that lifted the whole ship, as he said. I sincerely don't believe he's a racist, but he's giving the room for people to come out to express themselves openly. It's the same thing that's happened here. I don't believe Boris Johnson is a racist. He must have said racist things, but he's giving a room again for people to come out to be able to express their dirty views. So yeah, it shouldn't be. Lil Wayne's girlfriend, I think she's just left Lil Wayne as well because he campaigned for Trump. I don't think we should get it. I think we should be tolerant enough to accommodate every opinion, because I'm not fully conservative. I'm not fully liberal. I'm not fully anything. In some issues, I'm highly conservative. In some issues, I'm saying, hey, let people make their own decisions. Let people make their choices. On immigration, I can't be very conservative. On abortion rights, it's your business. It's got nothing to do with me. So I don't think we should divorce each other, friends or married partners. We should be really, really tolerant of each other if we want to move forward.
Okay, Jude, before I go on, so you don't think or you don't believe that Trump is racist?
Because I'm looking at his past, I'm looking at past life. events that has happened in his life, things that he's done. And I don't think he's a racist. This guy singularly helped Jennifer Hudson when she had members of her family slaughtered. This guy's a businessman. Most of his properties are rented by black people. You know, I'm looking. Huh?
I doubt that.
No, yes. He's a rich man. Look, it's hard for that sort of man who's in estate to become a racist. He is not a racist. He's got some he's a man with a loud mouth, you know, as per racial thing. He's not a racist as hardcore racists are. You've never heard that Trump was a member of KKK or went to some campaign ground. Trump saw the opportunity that the vacuum that Obama's presidency cost. So he just jumped on that bandwagon, and he had ready food soldiers waiting. So he had to use them. He had to say what they wanted to hear.
All right, hold on. I'm going to come back to you on Obama's policy, but let me go to you, Charlotte, because you're you haven't got pearls, but you're about to hold your hat like, okay, hold on. So do you think that because we have different political ideologies, is that enough reason for me to end my friendship with you?
It depends on how that kind of goes into link with your friendship. At the end of the day, regardless of political views, we all have our own ideology, our own identity. It's how that kind of interlinks with certain aspects of your friendships. So I don't think it's necessarily a changer, but there's a level of respect that you need to have for whoever it is that you're interacting with, and how that kind of view can impact on that individual person. So that's my kind of stance in it, because I don't have like a political view per se, but I can see the influences that it could have that could be detrimental to a friendship or a relationship.
Okay. Michelle, you're awfully quiet there. So I want you to come and... Oh, you're waiting for me to call on you.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I can't believe it.
So I know you've got your views, and your views are very solid when it comes to politics, but should we veer on a different ideology? Is that enough for you to just say, well, Yuri doesn't think the way I think, given the way you, like Charlotte said something about values. Values matter to us. And sometimes I may say things that rubs you in the wrong way, especially when it comes to your values.
I just think I think we need to separate friendships from relationships. Okay. I think with friendships, there's a lot of things that I can put up with. So I'm honest. I'm a Labour. I'm Labour through and through. That's where my heart is. That's me. That's my value base comes from my political standing. With friendships, you know, I've got Tory friends, and I'm a bit like, okay, I'll park that aside. But to be with someone who was who voted Conservative, who supports Trump, it wouldn't make sense with me. That totally, it's like that we're the opposite ends of the spectrum. And I just think that Trump is a racist, FYI. He don't like black people. He doesn't like the park,
Central Park 5. Yeah.
The Central Park 5. He doesn't
and the
like
Mexicans.
That. He doesn't like coloured people. He don't like the Mexicans. He just likes the ones that he can sexually assault and they don't really say anything. Yeah. I went there. Yeah. Trump is definitely a racist. But I think friendships, you know, I'm not going to lie, this Trump thing, I had family members who were supporting him, Christian family members. And I remember talking to Celia last week. I was like, what is it? How does that marry? How does that go hand in hand? So it's a struggle. But I think relationships for me, if my husband was, and when we talk about, you talked about, Jude, about being tolerant. I feel that the left, we're always tolerant. We're tolerant, we're accepting. That's what we do, and we always have to. But then the right wing,
the left ain't tolerant. I was a card carrier member until just before the lockdown of Labour. I campaigned and ensured that our first black MP was elected in Thamesmead and Erith. She used my pictures to publicize herself. Abena, she's currently an MP. She's currently the Secretary of Exchequer. So she's a senior front bencher for Labour, a very close friend. I left Labour a couple of months ago. The leftists are not accommodating. They actually don't give room for people to actually have a proper conversation. We're getting things confused, leftists, rightists. The people in the right who are making noise, they're not just like conservatives. These are hardcore racists. These are guys who are on the fringe of the far right. They're not the people we're talking about. Conservatives are different from those people on the fringes of the far right parties. The same with the so-called liberals. The Labour core members, I'm part of Labour. They're racist. Labour can take me anywhere. Racism thrives more in Labour than conservative. Conservatives are allowed. They're allowed to say things like, oh, pickaninnies and all of that letterbox to describe Muslim. But my Labour people, boy, they're racist, man. I know what I'm talking about.
Jude, hold on. I'm going to come to you because obviously I want us to dig deep into this. Jabba Jansis, Michelle said something now that obviously with friendship, well, I could do without a friend or two. But when it comes to husbands, I think I've lost Jabba Jansis, but I'll come back to that. Let me go to see. Oh, you're still okay. So, Jabba Jansis, is that enough reason? Because we know Kellyanne Conway, I think spokesperson for Trump. Her husband is not a fan of Trump. He's one of the Republicans that actually campaigned to get Joe Biden in. Their marriage is still very goodwill, but is that enough? Because obviously when it comes to you and your partner are supposed to be merging. You're supposed to have the same kind of values, ideology, because obviously you pass that on to your children. But if one side is very left and the other side is very right, where do you then cross the road?
So this thing, it's been happening for ages. It's the same like football. You see the husband supporting Arsenal, the wife supporting Manchester. They'll be fighting when there is football and they end it in the bedroom. The wife doesn't get to bed. I mean, sorry, the fight doesn't get to bed. You know, they become one team in the bedroom, but they're different teams in front of the TV. It's okay. Me, I'm not a supporter of Biden. I'm not a supporter of Trump. I don't see the difference in both of them. I just think Trump doesn't know how to talk. He's not a political talker. He just talks. Biden is a professional. He's been in the game for over 30 years. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't see the difference in both of them. But now allowing people's conflict of interest to determine the bond in your marriage, that is just very, very weak and immature. You know, I see it happening everywhere. And I'm just like, okay, so because somebody is supporting Trump and because they're using religion to manipulate you guys, now you're hating him because he's on the bandwagon of Trump, or you're hating your partner because he's supporting Biden, of which this same Trump, his best Christian campaigner or pastor is a Nigerian who is saying this, oh, COVID-19 this, COVID-19 that. He even tweeted it. So, and everybody was attacking him saying, oh, how can a Nigerian who is not a qualified doctor be the pastor who is telling you this? I don't think he is racist the way people see it. But at the end of the day, he needs to put the interest of his people first. He's an American, he's a white man. You know, we ourselves, we do the same thing in our house. We do it in our country. So I'm not going to use that card against him, even though I don't like him. He's not my kind of guy. But to be fair, I don't think people should judge him based on his interest. I just think he's not good with words. He's keyboard warrior. Every minute he's on Twitter. You know, that's what he does.
Keyboard warrior.
He doesn't have good advisors. That's what I see. And I don't think people should fight themselves in their marriage or relationship because somebody is supporting us now and somebody is supporting Wigan. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. Before I go, because I'm quite interested in picking some things with Jude. Celia, I'm going to come to you. But Jude, I'm going to ask you something. You said you used to be a card carrier for Labour. And if we look at the ideologies of Labour versus the Conservative are more around making money for making the wealthy more wealthier, and social values and things like that, providing for the poor really comes from Labour. So I'm trying to, because I see you as a fair man and someone that is married to, and if you don't mind me pointing this out, someone married to an European, given how Conservative campaigned about Brexit, their stance on immigration, I'm struggling to marry where you stand on this, because obviously this, I would imagine this is something that's really important to you. And for a government that does not really support you in that aspect, you really think they're not
look, yes, I was card carrying member of Labour. I don't want the borders to be open. We don't want every Dick and Harry to jump into the country, man. We got to be strict with our immigration rules and legislation. Is fact. The Brexit, rightly so, the people call for it.
Sorry, I will let you talk, but you're a migrant yourself.
Yeah, it's different. Okay. I'm a different migrant.
Sorry.
No, listen. Jabba Janti pointed out something.
About to kill you. I'm coming, ladies.
No,
let you finish.
He pointed out something. Just said Trump is first and foremost a white American. Everything is about interest. If you don't think there is interest and agenda in politics, then you've not even started. Everything is interest and agenda. If you don't know about those two, then you're not even a politician. That's where I come from. So immigration with the Brexit, there were so many issues that led to that. It started when David Cameron came in. One of the biggest issue was European citizens from the last EU people who joined in 2004, before Bulgaria and Romania joined. One of the contending issue was one, child benefits. These people had children. Their children would not step a foot in this country, and they will rightly collect benefits for them while the kids were still outside. That was very big, and nobody addressed it. And that came out from Labour's policy. Conservatives was challenging.
Don't you think, sorry, Jude, don't you think that the policies should then be amended? It's not really about immigration.
But now we go back to the agenda and policy. Why would I just amend your policy to make you look good? I want to win power, so I have to come with my agenda and call you out. This is politics for you. So on some aspects, why I spoke about a different immigrant is we're Commonwealth. We're meant to be Commonwealth. Commonwealth were meant to get visa freeze and come live here and work. All of that things were taken out one by one because of the bigger EU picture. And we could only vote and be voted for. We no longer had those Commonwealth, so to speak, citizenship with the whole Commonwealth nations. Look, it's about agenda. I must fight for my own interest. The EU should fight for their interest. My wife, rightly, she's EU. I had to fight and give her the settled status in this country. I did it for her. But we've had our own conversations. I said, look, your people are lazy. I'm calling it out. Your people just come in here and drink and are on the streets. We're not working. I've worked my ass off. We've had our issues. Yeah, she will say, no, I'm saying the truth. On those issues, I'm highly conservative. On other issues, look, Labour. Look, conservatives is all about the individual, building yourself, having responsibility. My property today, if not for the policies that Thatcher put in place, I won't have my flat that I have today. Labour didn't do that. Labour want you to remain in council properties. Labour wants you, when your plumbing is wrong, they'll come fix it for you and burden the council. Credit is gone bust. Conservative want you to buy the property and take responsibility. I love that. Take
on a leasehold.
Dude, pause for 2 seconds. I'm going to come to you, but let me remind you before I go to Celia. Conservative were in power till 2016. So the spending that we've had with Croydon Council, most of it came from the Tories. So Celia, given what we're saying here, do you read? Because I know you're good friends with me, good friends with everyone on this show. You're very close to Jude, and Jude has a different ideology, which I'm kind of Jude. I'm about to divorce you, but I'm going to marry you back. So now, Celia, let me understand what your mindset at the moment, given how Jude is very vocal, what Jude's stand is, and to my question, how on earth are you guys still friends?
I mean, you find yourself in a situation you don't have control over. Me and Jude have had this battle on Facebook a few days ago. Okay, I don't know. I'm just so gobsmacked that I'm short of words. I don't know what to say. I don't want to. After this conversation, me and Julie are not going to talk anymore. Okay, I'm going to block him. I'm going to delete his number. No, I'm joking. But actually, I mean, he wouldn't be the first person to have different political views. But going back to your very first question, Yuri, about whether or not marriages should end because of different political views, I don't necessarily think so, because I feel like before you get into a relationship, part of getting to know this person when you're still dating is also knowing what their political views are, right? It will be very interesting for a person who had the same political views with you to completely go the opposite after you guys have married, right? Except maybe the person was lying and didn't want you to know all of that, right? So for me, I'm sure you can work it out. You don't need to divorce over that because there are more issues that you can divorce over, trust me. Now, when it comes to friendships, I remember when Trash It started when we came back on, because we took a break for a while and we came back on summer last year. One of the guests that was invited to the studio to discuss, invited to the studio to record with us, they mentioned that they voted for Brexit, yeah? And they voted for Brexit because all these immigrants coming into the country is just too much, right? Now, this person is not born in this country. The person's mom was not born in this country. Their father wasn't born in this country. The person was an immigrant. And the person now has the right papers to remain in this country. But then here you go, this person is saying, and the person is Black, obviously, right? And here you go, this person is now saying that she wants to vote for them to close the border so that other white people can't come into this country. Now let's look at it this way. A white British man, I'm just saying, maybe not, but I stand corrected. A white person who is racist would rather have another white person who is Polish, Czech, and they cannot understand the language, but the skin color is the same. They would rather have that person come into the country than have a black person who can speak English, who can speak everything, they can relate more with, but just because the person is black, they don't want that person. Now, I'm sure I go with Michelle on this. Trump is very racist, okay? He's racist. And also, he is absolutely racist. And also, his policies, unbelievable. Now, let's talk about brainwashing of Christians. This is where you see Christians that have really been brainwashed, okay? Because I am a Christian, okay? I stand by that. I don't know if I'm born again. Come on. I'm born again Christian, all right? I'm born again Christian.
You're the best. You're the best, Celia. You're the best.
And the thing is, for me, in as much as I'm a born again Christian, but morally, I think I take my moral values very important, because God said you need to love your neighbor as yourself. Now, if I think that locking my neighbor's child, if I know that I wouldn't want somebody to lock my child in the cage, no matter what, I will not lock my neighbor's child in a cage. But what has Donald Trump been doing to the children of those immigrants? Because he wants to deter them from coming into the United States of America, he separates the children and locks the children in the cage, okay? And those children, some of them end up not seeing their parents, okay? Some of them get separated from their parents for a very long time, okay? And now you want to come and tell me that Trump is a Christian. Now, I know sometimes, Jude, hold on. I know sometimes we need to separate religion. We need to separate religion from politics.
But who built them cages?
Okay, he built it,
No, it was Obama who built them.
Obama built those cages.
Yeah, Obama brought tires and built the cages.
Did he put anybody inside when he built it?
Yes, he separated families there.
Anyway,
this is the thing with liberals. Go check the history, is there. He built them cages, he put families in there.
For me, I maintain this. It's interesting you're saying that, Jude, but how is it that when Obama was putting children inside those cages, nobody wasn't on social media?
No, because the media, they love this one. I love my brother. It's the media. It's the media.
You cannot say. You cannot. No, Jude. Wait, this is my turn. Let me finish. You cannot tell me. You cannot tell me. You cannot tell me that Obama put those children in the cage. I would like to see the evidence for that.
I say he built them cages. He had families there.
He might have built the cages for whatever reason. I don't know.
For what? For rabbits? To hold rabbits?
But listen, Celia, let me do this one.
Celia, hold on. Let me jump in for 2 seconds. That's it. I'm coming to you. Michelle, you were going to say something before I go to Charlotte.
I didn't finish.
Yeah.
So you didn't finish. Hold on.
Number one, I don't think they would let a black man put children in cages and we wouldn't hear about it, number one. What you said, Jude, was he put families in cages. Fair enough, he kept the families together. Yeah, I don't like the term cages, but he kept them together and he didn't separate them. Yeah, what Trump is doing. I think as well, so imagine I'm a Mexican, in America, and my husband supports Trump and he's a white American, and Donald Trump is saying, get rid of the Mexicans, they're lazy, they're this, they're that. Are you telling me that I should be okay with that? That, he's calling my husband, I love you so much. Yeah, all my family, they're lazy, drunk, robbers. Is that something that I should be okay with?
No, you should not be okay with that.
Donald Trump's attorney, Jeff Sessions, confirmed that Donald Trump separated the children from their parents, put them in a cage as a means of deterring them from crossing the border.
Okay,
right?
Hold on, Celia. Let me come to you because I've got a question for Charlotte and Jabba Johnson. But before I do that, Celia, Christians, you talked about Christian ideologies, okay? I'm a Christian myself. But there's some school of, because someone, I think it was Jabba Johnson and Jude that said, okay, white evangelicals voted en masse for Trump, while Christians or Pentecostal Christians voted for Joe Biden. In the Bible, it says you're not supposed to get pregnant before you're married. So they could come to you and say, well, in the Bible that you believe in as a born-again Christian, there's some ideologies that God says you shouldn't do. How do you then answer? Because the Bible says you shouldn't be laying with people you're not married with. So definitely you're not supposed to be pregnant. And that's where these anti-abortion issues come from. So as a Christian, how do you then answer that?
So my answer to that is, let he that is without sin cast the stone. Yeah,
Oh.
that's what I'll say to that. Because let me tell you, what they're doing is they're cherry picking. Whichever one suits, will go with. Now, how can you tell me it's okay for you as a Christian or as anybody at all to separate the children from their parents and then lock them in the cage where they cannot see? Let me tell you something. This politics thing, especially with American politics, I never really cared for it, right? But my husband is an addict when it comes to that, right? And unfortunately, because of that,
I think we all became addicts throughout this.
When it's in your ear all the time, you just have to say, okay, you know what? Let me get interested in this thing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a point that Jude made, where Jude said, "I'm a different immigrant." No, darling, you are not a different immigrant. Every immigrant is the same, regardless of
will you let me correct that?
No,
will you let me correct that?
No.
Will you let me correct that?
Okay, correct it.
The reason I said that is because of the agenda and interest. I don't give a twat about another man. No one has ever fought for me. I fight for myself. When we come to this country, we come with highly skilled visitors. Let them come with highly skilled visitors and let's go to the market.
Oh,
free
that's
market.
very generalized.
I prefer the free market. That's why I said it. That's why I said it. I prefer the free market. Our people need that same opportunity. They got highly skilled. Let them come into the country. Let them compete for the jobs. That's a free market society.
Jude,
That's what I want.
Let me tell you.
That's what I want.
United Kingdom is not the only country that immigrants are trying to get to.
No.
America
I mean
is not the
everywhere.
only country. And now let me tell you, don't forget, right? Don't forget this so-called highly skilled that you're talking about. Nigerians that go to Italy to go and prostitute, are they highly skilled? What are they highly skilled?
No, you're just going
Nigerians
you're going
that
somewhere else.
try to go through Libya.
No, you're going somewhere else.
It's the same thing.
No,
Because
it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Because the thing is, no, Jude, I'm just
It's not
arguing
the same.
on the basis of
I'll tell you the only similarities.
All right.
There is a market for it in
You're
Italy.
cherry picking though.
There is a
You're
no,
cherry
I'm not cherry picking. I am not. I'm making facts.
Celia, hold on, Celia,
I'm not. There is a market for nurses and doctors to come into this country through highly skilled scheme. Then they come in. If there's a market in Italy for prostitution and red light district,
So, Jude, are you
then they
saying
go there. If we want
there's no
prostitutes in
highly
this country,
skilled
they should come
Europeans?
here.
Are you saying there's
saying?
highly skilled Europeans? There's no
I never said that. I said let everybody compete in the market.
Hold on,
That's what I just said.
hold on.
Let
Let's
us
shift
come to
gears.
the market
No,
and compete.
let's shift
That's what I
gears.
said.
Second.
Not give anybody free pass to come in and when I have the skills. I'm saying let everybody go to the market and compete. If I want a job in Canada, I have to apply. If they approve it and they say, Jude, come, I am off. You do the same. I'm not saying don't give them job. They are highly skilled. Trust me. They even train some of us. But I'm saying free market for everyone.
All right, let's shift gears. I'm going to go to Charlotte and Jabojantis. Do you think identity should matter? And when I say identity, you know, a lot of people say, oh, a lot of Black people voted for Obama rather than his policies. And there's an argument, which I think I'm going to go back at some point to everyone in the panel, that Obama's presidency did not do anything for Black people, that we voted with sentiment. So, Charlotte, should identity matter when it comes, or should race matter when it comes? So we see someone, they've got the swag, but what they're saying is quite empty. Should you know what I'm saying? So should identity really matter when we're talking about political aspirants and people that we vote for?
Of course, identity is the core of everything that we do. With the politics that are going on with the US, there's undertones that have been there for many, many years, which has been intensified since Trump has been president. And everybody now has something to say about, like you said, employment, immigration, this, that, and the other. I think a lot of issues as well is that the fact that they're not affiliated with human rights, and that leaves a lot of opportunity for people to be exploited. But definitely identity is the core, in my opinion. It's just how you respect people's values. At the end of the day, we all have opinions. It's the respect. And if you're knowing that you're taking an approach that is offensive and people are telling you, particularly with Trump, he doesn't take that information in. Like, I think it was Jude that said, he's a Twitter or keyboard warrior, and that's where he uses his platform to stir up the pot and cause havoc. And that's what's currently going on. And we have our equivalent. We've got Boris here. He's just very subtle in how he does his own thing.
Okay. Thanks for that, Michelle. Jabba Jantis.
So,
identity, race.
You see, identity is something that will never go away. It's a very big issue in everything we do, in politics, in religion, in relationship. Identity will always be there. It has come to stay. It's never going nowhere. The problem is, even when Obama was there, as much as all of us love Obama, Black Americans are still complaining that, oh, Obama is a sellout. He didn't really do anything for the Black community. He was just there. He was just there. Or some call him puppets, And the truth about the matter is, even when Obama was there, they were still deporting people. And I always said to people, you hate Trump, he does this, he does that. He just doesn't know how to talk. Because the same way they're deporting now, they've been doing it for God knows how long. I always tell people, don't commit crime. If you know you don't have papers, don't go and enter bus 453 from Horse Guard without Oyster card, and then when they deport you, you now say it's Trump. Or don't go to club and start throwing bottles if you know you don't have papers. Or don't go and drive if you don't have papers. Then you don't even stop at red lights. They will now catch you. You now say it's one mama in Edo that is causing it. So if you know you don't have papers, they say Lagos people, they don't look for trouble. Stay in your lane. The same way they would deport you during Obama is the same way they will deport you now during Trump. If you don't have papers, if you have papers, they will probably send you to jail. You come out again, do your big boy. But nobody is going to deport you if you have papers. So if you don't have papers, don't look for trouble. The same way they will deport you now as an immigrant is the same way they will deport you. So even if you're British and you go and commit big crime, you will serve the time and they will disqualify your British passport. They will send you back home. So it is not because it is Trump or because it is Obama. There is a punishment for the crimes that you commit. So if you don't have papers, don't go look for trouble. It is not because of Trump that they built prison. Prison has always been there. Black people has always been filling it up. It is not new. So let us not use the stupidity of Trump or the fact that he's a keyboard warrior, doesn't know how to talk, to judge him. That is his personality. Trump is not a politician. He's a
Should we then
businessman.
excuse his personality, given that he's driving up racist undertone? The things people can't say to you in your face, now they've got the balls to say to you. And, we've got so many videos of young children who are scared to go to school, who are scared to walk down the street, even here in London, where people have been using the N-word, asking you to go back to where you've come from. So are we excusing that simply because I don't know how to talk to,
I'm not
Does
sure.
that mean
Is
everything?
Trump using N-word? I'm not clear about that. I don't know. Maybe I've not seen it. Does Trump normally use N-word for Black people?
He doesn't have to use N-word, but the things he say allows a white person to use the N-word. Like, you're not from here. Go back to where you're coming from. And people, you kind of ask, where are they supposed to? We're talking about first.
Didn't he say Nigerians were not allowed into America?
Nigeria is a shithole country. Which Nigeria
He
is.
didn't say Nigeria, I said Africa, and I agree with that. I agree with the description.
Okay, do you know what? Let me say something. Yeah, let me say something.
Whole countries, it's fact.
Let me say something. The policy to put children inside the cage, it was Donald Trump. Now look at this, yeah? This is from the Trump's administration. Just read that, yeah?
We need to take away children.
Yes, they did that as a deterrent. And this was people in Trump's top cabinet. Now look at this again. Right? Look at that again. That's the amount, some of the children that were separated from their parents until now, they've not been found. Now, let me say, Mr. Jagwajantics, when you say that, Trump, there was something you said about Trump. Now, the thing is, Obama, you said Obama was already deporting people and Trump is also deporting people, the same thing. Yes, you're right. Obama was deporting people. But who were the people Obama was deporting? Majority of the people Obama was deporting were those Mexican drug lords, all those criminals, right, that were in the country, that were not doing any good in the country. Now, Obama created DACA. Let's not forget that, yeah? And that gave almost 1 million children who were brought into the country because their parents were not documented. They too were not documented. So by creating DACA, Obama gave those children documentation. But what did Trump do when he came into office? He scrapped it. Why? Why scrap it? What is the reason behind scrapping it? Because he's trying to undo everything that Obama has done. At the end of the day, let's cut it out for what it is. We know Trump is racist, okay? We know there are people, I've read articles where some Black people that tried to rent properties in the Trump Towers, they were not allowed to. They weren't allowed to. Why? Not that they didn't have the money to pay the rent, not that they didn't have monthly income coming in from a career. They did, but they just weren't allowed because they were Black. Now, Obama helping, and what did you call, what's that lady's name, Jude, that you mentioned? I can't remember the name of lady, the artist that you mentioned, that Obama helped when her sister and when her family.
Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson.
Obama did, that Trump helped when the family was murdered. Trump must have done that as a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
Okay. He must have done that as a publicity stunt because this is Trump. Trump that would send.
Let me stop you there.
No,
let
wait,
me stop
don't
you there.
stop me there.
Let me
Let
stop
me
you
finish.
there. Let me
Trump
stop you
that
there.
would send
I want to stop you
palliative.
there quick.
Wait, no, wait.
Wait, I'll let you
Trump
talk.
that sent
Honorable member, give way.
palliatives to people during the
Honorable
lockdown,
member, give
and
way.
he put his name on the check. He sent food boxes to people to say this
Give
is your
way.
palliative. And he went to churches and he wrote his name on the letter.
Give way,
Coming
please.
from Trump, instead of putting it from the department of whatever it is. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, we all know Trump is racist. And to think that Trump
Not all of us.
knows KKK people that are gunning for Trump and humming him on, beefing him up. And Trump knows that, but he cannot come out on social media. Actually, thank you very much for your support, but I do not condone your ideas.
Rise up. He said rise up.
Yes,
He said,
no,
"Dan, rise up."
you know what? And the thing is, no, you're sorry, one moment. Let me go back to that immigration thing. I maintain that nobody is a different immigrant. Jude, at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do to survive, right? Everybody has to do that. My brother-in-law came into this country. When I was here, he was in Nigeria. Every morning he will write to me, Celia, help me find school now. Celia, I beg now, help me find school. I found school for him. He went to Scotland. Yeah? He went to Scotland, he schooled. After schooling, he married an Oyibo woman, old enough to be his grandmother. Got his papers. And what is he saying today? I'm conservative. I don't like labor. Let them close the border. All these people that too much. So this is where I have an issue, because people that have come into this country benefited from what Labour put in power and now have their paper. Because they have the red passport or whatever color of passport is it, they now think that
it's now blue. They've changed it.
Close the border, close the border. What I was saying earlier about the person that came here to record, that person came and said, yes, they voted for Brexit. And I thought, you know what? And what was your reason? I want them to shut the border. I said to myself, I don't want anything to do with this person anymore. But you know what? It didn't affect that relationship, and I still continued my relationship with that person. So yes, sometimes it might piss you off in the beginning, but after a while, you're just like, you know what? People will always be people, and people can never stop surprising you. Trust me. My brother voted for Brexit.
Okay, Celia.
So
you've broken enough table. Jude, I'm going to let you respond in 1 minute. I've got a final question and then we can round up. You were going to say something, but I wanted you, Celia, to land her point.
Yes, a lot of issues have jumped up on it. I was going to say, I keep going back. You spoke about identity and all of that in politics, tokenism politics, symbolic politics, like what is going on with Senator Kamala Harris right now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, you must know, and if you don't know, don't have anything to do with politics, please. There's agenda and there's always interest. Whether Trump puts his name on a biscuit, our Nigerian politicians are putting their face on palliative. The woman senator or House of Rep or whatever, she did it palliative. She put it for her 40th birthday. Humans and politicians are the same everywhere. Interest and agenda, you must be very aware. I have an interest and I have an agenda. So I'm saying it to you again, we are different immigrants, and I've said the reason why I'm different. Let me tell you something. Okay, of course, conservative gave me my documents, they gave me opportunity to buy a house. Then I would love that policy because of this first time buyer and all of that. You can't tell me I shouldn't love that because it favored me. It's my interest, it's my personal agenda. Then secondly, when we apply for papers, it causes us a lot of struggle, especially when you have the Nigerian passport. They need to verify, do biometrics. When this EU thing came out, I have applied for so many EU people. I do it from my mobile phone. EU don't even know. This is what I do for free of charge for them. Less than 20 minutes, an EU man already have a settled status. And I've done this, a lot of people, Newham, who I work for, don't even know that I do it for the people they send me to. This is why I say we are different immigrants. What would take a Nigerian 1 year to apply? The EU, I'm doing it on my phone for less than 5 minutes for them. We are different immigrants, Celia. So we're not the same. They have more rights than us.
When I say we are different
mean
immigrants, what I'm saying is we are all leaving our country here for greener pastures.
No, but that's not that's not the bone of contention. The contention is we're talking about the rights.
Why did you leave Nigeria? Why did you leave Nigeria?
Listen to me.
Okay. Did you leave Nigeria?
Guys,
and who was in power when you left Nigeria and came to the UK? Who was it Conservative?
It was Labour.
Okay.
Now let me say something.
Like you know when I came, it was Labour.
You told me, you said 25 years ago, Abi.
Were you there?
Were you there?
It was Labour.
But Labour never gave me my papers. I got the other Conservative.
Now, Jude.
We'll never know, would we, Jude?
Hold on. Let me ask a question, and I'm going to go via everyone. Jude, and you and I are good friends, but does this not come as being, do you not think you're coming across as being selfish in the sense that I've gotten my bit? Hold on. I've gotten my bit. I don't want anyone to get theirs because the ideologies doesn't. Hold on. The ideologies doesn't say, because you're talking about it now. Conservative gave me my papers. Conservative allowed me to buy.
I'm talking about
just because of the
Hold on. Let me
talking
ask
about
this question.
interest as a human. You have to have that.
No. I understand, Jude. I understand. What I'm trying to say is that look at the argument we've had in the last 1 or 2 weeks, where we have the Conservative refusing to give free school meals. If there's anybody that should suffer, should it be children? And we had Mark Rushford, what's that guy? Yeah. Now challenging. I want you to think about the ideologies, because sometimes there's a school of thought that think the Conservative is a party for the rich, while Labour is a party for the poor. And you said something, and I'm not attacking you, but you said something like, Labour were the one that put this policy in place for benefit. But if you look at benefit realization, everyone on this panel works, but there's some family that cannot afford what we afford because of their economic status. And sometimes Labour happens to be a leveler, while Conservative seems to be taking that away. So let me ask you, don't you think that sometimes whoever is in power is who pays them, in the sense that those that finance them makes these decisions, not the party, really?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Jude.
Quickly, going back to your being selfish or something, you have to know, as humans, if you're not selfish, if you don't have your personal agenda, then please don't do anything. Don't have anything to do with politics. You understand? Just stay away from it. You know, people are there for their own personal thing. With the free school meal, there's research. Go study. I want you to take this as a job for you to do tonight, whoever wants to do it. Go research on free school meals and how it damaged a whole lot of generation. Why you see it's become a contentious. It's not just because Rashford put a famous face to it. Thank goodness for that young man. I would gladly feed people if I have the wherewithal to do it. So I'm proud of him. He's done it. It's great. He's put people to the table. He's made them have a contentious discussion that they shine away from. Research, so many research out there. When they did about a generation who lost all, I don't know how to put it, but go search for it somewhere. If I come across, I'll let you know. People who were on free school meals, they didn't do well compared to those who their parents. Yeah, the research is there. I'm not just saying this because I want to say it. This is research. That's why when people talk these things, we have to look at it, or we can't just be swayed by emotions or the emotions of the time and say, oh, free school meal and this. People who had free school meals later, their chances in life was, I don't know how to use the English, was not as bright as those who were not on free school meals.
Dude, I was on free school meals and I'm doing very well, I'll be honest.
Oh, okay, good for that, Michelle. I'm talking about research. Maybe you weren't part of that research. I'm talking of when they do research, they collect numbers, right? They collect numbers. So
Michelle, they left you out of that. Survey.
Well done for that. You see, I don't like those kind of labeling, but it's the same research they did on people who live on social housing, their chances in life. Free school meals was one of the big ones. It did affect. That's why conservatives don't really want to support that. They want to say, give you the chance. They don't mind giving you benefits So long as your mom cooks the food and bring it for you to school, than saying, oh, the school is going to feed you, because of what the result the research came up with then. That's why they're trying to shy away from it. So they believe, instead of me to give you that food, I'll give your mother the money to go buy food. Yes, of course, there are nasty people in Conservative Party, especially those who will say, I can tell you how to use £5 and cook a meal. I say, shut up to them. They don't even know the reality of life. But what I'm trying to say, first of all, you must know there is personal agenda, there's interest. If there is none, please stay away from politics. Don't get involved, don't just be talking. This Donald Trump thing is all about interest. Biden, you think Biden is there for the next guy on the street? It's his own interest. He's been dying to be president forever. It's there now. Great for him. Let's see what turns out. Everybody is there for that interest. It's not for you. It's not for me.
Okay,
Simple.
thanks, Jude. Michelle, as someone that got left out of the survey that they carried out.
In it.
Yeah. I'm asking you, as I put it to Jude, one might think that, and this is not disrespect, it's just a question. This is a bunch of scroungers. You want to waste our money on free school meal. Why can't you cook for your own child?
So there's so many things I want to say. Number one, you'll always find research to back whatever argument you want. Number one, as you said, political agenda, so does research. Find out who undertook the research. Who did they target? What point were they trying to make?
Exactly.
Who's funding them? Number one. In terms of, I want to go back to someone said about Barack Obama being a puppet for the people. I think I always say this: representation matters. So the one thing that Barack Obama did, if anything, it showed little black mixed race boys that they can go up there and they can be the president of one of the most powerful countries in the world. Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot your question. I'm sorry.
So my question is, someone that got left out, people can think that, okay, as a labor carrier, card carrier, and someone that actually, people might think you're scroungers. Why do someone need to give your child food?
If you're saying scroungers, you know, if we look at social care and we look at generational trauma and loss and suffering and neglect, and we look at systemic racism and all of those things that come into play, you know, it's an easy way out to say, oh, they're scroungers. It's an easy way out. We have to look at the social concepts, the things that are being put in place, the things that are stopping them potentially from being wherever they want to be. You understand? So that scroungers thing, it's nonsense. You know, you need to dig deep, do your research, do your own research, you know, but no, it's a nonsense.
Okay. In closing, Charlotte, and I'm just going to give everyone 1 minute. What do you think about the policies or the ideologies that does not promote British values, that conservative think that's what Labour is actually doing? I'll give you an example. You know, with this new thing about, we're in a crisis at the moment with COVID, and this bounce back loan happens to only be for those that are comfortable, while other people are being furlong or people are being out of jobs. So, Charlotte, what's your take on that as someone who works and you see, because there was this meme that goes out that key workers are working hard, they're not getting, NHS had to fight for some money, social workers had to fight some money, but all this money is being dished out to businesses.
Well, we're going to suffer it in taxes in the long run. I know quite a few people that have taken out that loan because it's an easy loan to acquire. It's not necessarily that they're deprived or there's any kind of financial issues. It's an easy way to get money, and the interest paying it back is quite low. So there's a lot of scrutiny as to how that should be distributed and how that should be assessed. I do think, you know, we're all humans, we all face challenges. If there's somebody in need, they're in need. And it's quite inhumane to kind of deprive somebody of basic liberty. It's kind of balancing what you're doing and also the implications that's going to have. Because I think there has been an article saying that, you know, the implications of that loan, because I think they were even given that up to 50,000.
Yeah.
You know, and all some people needed to have was a limited company and a business account. And literally apply within 2 days, the money's in their account. So there's not much vetting behind it. So it's using that money appropriately and balancing what the implication is going to be on everybody involved, whether you're employed or unemployed.
Okay. Thanks, Michelle. Charlotte, Jabba Dances, in closing, should Boris go? Have we had enough?
Well, honestly, I don't think so, in the sense that no matter what kind of policies they make, I don't depend on them to feed. So they're not doing me any favor. The people who are collecting loans right now, it's not as if they're not going to pay back. I'm on follow as well. You know, they've cut so many percentage of my salary. I've got mouths to feed. I have wife, kids, and you know, cousins, mom, everybody that I need to get. The money is not enough, but I'm not going to pay anything back. I would have said they should make that money, instead of cutting the percentage, they should have increased it a little bit. You know, the same way the loan is available to people doing self-employed or people who have companies. They are enjoying loans now. We were not. But it is not that I'm waiting for the loan, but I just think they should have done something a little bit for people who are on salary scheme, so that we don't start gnashing our teeth all the time or get on the streets and start protesting, while some are using the money to buy houses and renting it out and making money. I know people who have collected this money. They've invested it into another mortgage, you know, use different names and stuff. And they know that the percentage they're paying back is 1%, you know. So where is my own chance of doing the same? No salary increments. They're even cutting 20% out of it. So I get where Charlotte is coming from. I understand very well, because I'm on that scale as well. But what can we do?
All right, thank you, Jabba. In closing, Celia, there's so many uproar about this money or no money. So are we safe to argue that if you are the party that is bringing in money, then you should be the one to continue to sort of rule us? And I'm talking about the United Kingdom now. So to conservative, or should we go back to the era where everyone is on benefit?
I mean, the thing is, everybody keeps saying the Labour Party is all about benefit and giving handouts. I don't believe that, okay? I don't believe that. I'm a Labour, no matter what. Do you understand? Because I believe very much in social justice, and I believe helping people to come up where possible, right? And I don't think Labour encourages people to just sit down at home, but come and sign on and get your money every month or every week. I don't think they do that. Okay, so I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to go into the free school meal that I think someone said, I think Jude said they did a research and they said it was better. The children that received free school meals grew up and didn't amount to anything. I mean, seriously, who even did that research? Do we know how many? I mean, most of us here are social workers, and Michelle, you work with children, right? You're an IRO. Do we know how many children depend on that school meal as a meal for the day? Because when they get home, their mom is drunk or has one man in the room that she's trying to shout to collect money from, right? And that school meal that they've had, that hot meal they had in school, was the only meal they will be having for the rest of the day.
And can I say, do you think that mum is going to care whether you have the free school meals or not? She isn't going to care. She isn't going to care.
But to an extent, but to an extent, she's going to care, because she knows for her, it's almost like, oh, well, you're going to have some food when you get to
Celia,
school.
I'm telling you that some of them are so unwell or so deep in their addictions that actually they don't care.
Well, good.
They don't care.
Good. Well, now this is the opportunity that the government has to look after that child who his or her mom don't look after. So us now stopping it because they think not everybody is born with a silver spoon. Not everybody has that or come up already that other people have with the connections and that. Some children are solely dependent on this free school meal for them to be able to get a hot meal a day. So I think whoever did that research is bollocks, is bullshit. And for the government to think that it's okay for them to scrap that free school meal just because of some research that was done by someone who never even went to public school. I don't think that's right. I think parents should be given the option. Do you want your child to have a free school meal or not? And let the parent choose.
And can I say, as someone who was on free school meals, my mum was a single parent. She worked, but she just couldn't afford to feed the free children that she had. My mum is really successful now.
Yeah.
Celia will tell you, you understand? But she needed that supporting hand, you know, and if the government had taken away, she probably would have not been able to work, because it would have been worse for us. It would have been worse. you know,
now
we didn't
imagine,
pay
for example, how many
know?
children might end up in the care system because they're not going to be having adequate meals, right? And then they're going to rock up at school and they're going to look malnourished. And then the school is going to inform social services to say, oh, this child is almost coming, mom is not giving. And then before you know it, the child has gone into the system.
And if we look at how much it costs to keep a child in foster care, compared
it's a lot of money.
It's £2.30 for my daughter's school meal.
Charlotte, it is.
It is.
It is.
£780 a week is a lot of money.
So it's almost saying at this point, yeah, because since it looks as though labor is all about giving free everything. It's almost as if at this point, before you know it now, conservative will say, let's start paying for healthcare. I mean,
and that's what they're
NHS
trying
will no
to
longer be free.
That's what they're trying to do.
Okay, so as we're about to close, I'm just going to go round. So should healthcare be free? Yes or no, Celia?
Of course, it should be free.
Okay, Jude.
Because
I'll answer that question, but I need to go back. I never said the government scrapped this free meals because of their research. I'm telling you, there were previous research. I'm not saying they did it because of this research. And Michelle touched on it before. Agendas. You need to listen to that, Celia. Agendas. Whoever wrote that research was to back up some government policy.
And I agree with that,
research, the policies that Corbyn brought up, people wrote research too, just to back up Corbyn. Agendas. You need to.
But then when you look at that, Jude, you need to look at what
Hold on, Celia. Hold on.
Going to. Celia, what are people going to benefit from more? Do you think more people are going to benefit from more school meals?
Listen, Anuri Bevan, and the government at the time, 1945, they brought about this so-called NHS and all to conquer the 5 evils of squalor, idleness, health, disease, and all. When Anuri Bevan is rightly a Labour person, but that whole process didn't just come because of a Labour government. It came as a cross-party and upon research. And they did it because of their own sinister agendas. They didn't do it because they really cared. One reason they did it, and go research on this, they said and people think these words come from Africa. No, they said if we don't wake up one day, these poor people that look like Oliver on the street, they're going to eat us. We need to sort the poor people out. That's how Anuri Bevan will task. That's how you have NHS. That's how you have benefits. That's how you have workhouses where they were putting people.
I'm about to close this. I want you to answer the question. Healthcare, should it be free or should we pay for it?
Look, I don't even use your NHS. I pay for my own healthcare. So whatever I want to do, we do. I'm not saying this because I have the money. I'm saying
yes, you are.
You all have listen to me. Listen to me. Listen, you can laugh. You all have come round to eat. It's all about money and small state. You spoke about how
receipts.
Michelle, you spoke about how foster homes are very expensive, right? Or foster care. Why do you think that is? Because it's a capitalist machine. We prefer to put you there so people make money. So if you have an idea to go into that business,
nobody's making money out of it. Foster carers don't make money out of it.
Why do you think people are making money somehow?
They're not making money.
So government
they're getting like foster care, they're getting like £700 a week.
They are making money. Governments will prefer not to give you that £2.50 school meal if it's £2.50, but put that money there. It's what it is. They'll prefer for you to eat poor food and get bad health and go pay for health care. This is how the system works. You need to know everything is agenda. What about the free healthcare? Yes, I want universal free healthcare. On top of that, they don't give me what I want. I still have to have private insurances to get that.
Yes,
that's what
you can do
people
that.
need to be responsible for.
You can do that.
It's
simple. You can do that.
Michelle, NHS, should we continue paying or should we start paying or should it be free?
It should be free. Just like the report that it came from, it should be free. Yeah.
Good. Given that we're about to do some business with the new government, Charlotte, should we start paying for healthcare?
We are in a sense with our contributions, but I think it should be free.
Okay. It should, okay. And Jabajantis, private healthcare.
Free, please, free.
Free.
Yeah.
Yuri, before you round up, can I just say something?
Please.
See, at the end of the day, right, I suppose everybody here has agreed that it should be free because not everybody can afford private healthcare. And I know that there's sometimes you might be waiting on the waiting list on the NHS to do something and you're like, you know what, I can't wait anymore. I'm going private. And that's good. And that's because you can afford it. There are people that are waiting on the list or they're waiting for a procedure on the NHS. They can't afford private and they've died waiting for that procedure. And I'm just going to go back to Trump real quick before we round up, right? Now,
we're not going to round up today.
Saying that Trump is not a racist, it's ridiculous. Please go and look at the part he played in the Central Park 5. Michelle, you saw that before. He wanted those boys strung to the electric chair and executed, right? And what happened? They were innocent. Go and look at Trial 4 on Netflix. It's a series, a very short series. Go and watch it. Trial 4. Okay. So I
couldn't watch it.
Yuri, you can round up.
So guys, as you can see, it's a very touchy. That's why I don't like to talk about politics, because right now I have to go have dinner in Jude's house, and I hope he let me in, because I don't know if we're still friends or he.
Dude, I hope I'll get my suya after lockdown.
No, I told you guys. On some issues, I'm conservative. On some issues, I'm liberal. I'm not for anyone.
Yeah, but
I'm for my personal agenda and my interests.
That's fine. So.
I don't care about other people if they don't care about me. I fight my business. I don't care about Mexicans, whether they build walls. I fight my own business. Nobody's ever fought for this N-word person. I fight my own business. Simple.
And what if white people decide to be fighting for their own rights and kick out all the black people from United Kingdom?
That's what they've been doing it. They've been doing it forever.
Anyway,
we're gonna end this, guys. We're gonna end this. I still want to keep my friends, Jude, Celia, Michelle, Charlotte, Jabajantis, thank you so much for trashing this. It is what it is. We all have different ideologies, but at the end of the day, we're able to come to a compromise. Jude is still my friend, whether he likes it or not. So we'll leave it at that. So until next week, it's been fun trashing this with everyone. Black Power. Bye, guys.
Bye. Forever. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.